let me come in once again and ask a very simple question. Clearly, there is a lot of corruption that is going on within your department, and that is what you are trying to sort out. South Africans, I'm sure, will be pleased to know that this is being sorted out. But there's one crucial question, Minister, and it's quite simple. If there is so much corruption that you are trying to undo in that department, has the department laid criminal charges against the individuals involved? If not, do you intend laying criminal charges against these people? Because this is an extreme abuse of public money.
There is no doubt about that, but we had to start somewhere. And while we were looking at all this, in the meantime, we didn't have a CFO, a fully appointed CFO. We didn't have a fully appointed accounting officer. We had people on an acting basis. I'm not saying that they would have been less accountable, but when you have a situation like this, you create doubt if you keep positions occupied by people on an acting basis. So we had at the same time to fill up this post. We filled up firstly the post of Director General, who started working on the 1st of January this year, but officially it started on the 3rd of January 2022. So you have a fully accountable accounting officer in that he is there fully accounting for what is happening and what is not happening. The next target was CFO, because we had one, but on an acting basis. That post has since been filled. We have a fully accountable chief financial officer in the department. Now, you can start building from there, and you can start turning things around. You can start holding every person accountable, knowing that you have a firm base. And I'm happy that we have done that. But straight to your question, cases are being opened. I know because we work with entities as well, water boards. As late as Monday, right at night up until 12 midnight, we were discussing a particular entity, and there is an SIU report, and it points to wrongdoing by somebody who is still in the entity full time, and we strictly said that is not permissible under any circumstances. And the matter is even referred, or has been referred, to NPA. And you cannot have somebody referred to NPA while at the same time just running in the entity under our watch, just like that. So, straight answer: any suspicion that we would have on any wrongdoing on the part of anyone, now there will be action, and there are actions that are being taken right now. And as I say, we are going to learn today who are the next lot when we finish our briefing with SIU and their recommendations. And within hours, we will act on those people who are identified for action on the basis that they are said to have participated in wrongdoing, because we are determined not just to turn around as a normal term that is used in situations like this, but we are actually determined to do this because there is wrongdoing. We are aware of it. It is within our means to act on that, and therefore we will do that. Right. We just want to assure the public that we will, including opening cases, both internally and externally, including suspensions where we have to suspend, charging where we need to charge. It does not matter that a person may not be with us anymore, either resigned or I said last time, even if someone decides to die, but there is already criminality, we follow the estate
Sure.
or whatever means to recover what belongs to the public.
All right. So these, it sounds as though you are on a mission, Minister, to really clean up, and hopefully South Africans can take you at your word. But where do you stand, Minister, on the views of the Portfolio Committee chairperson in Parliament, who says that this corruption that has led your department to be in a financial hole of about 10 billion rand, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, 10 billion rand in the hole. There were ministers who were at the helm when all of these contracts were being concluded, when all of this looting was going on. Where do you stand when they say that those ministers that were in charge must be held accountable? And what does accountability look like?
Let me just show you a slide, which is very worrisome, and I'll come directly to your question. If you look at 2014-15, it may represent a situation where we started building irregularities in terms of accountability in the department. And then it grew 15-16, and then it grew. These are two accounts that we have in the department. One main account, which is reddish above, and then the below one is the trade account, which is revenue that comes to the department on an annual basis. So in 14-15, there was there were lesser problems in the main account, more problems in the trading account. But that situation changed in 15-16, more problems in the main account than in the trading account. And then almost doubled both of them in 16-17. And then 17-18, almost equal but lesser. And then our main problem also grew 18-19 with more unaccountability in the main account, but still substantial unaccountability in the water trading or the trading account. And then 2019, 1920, 2021, and where we are now is at 70,000 in the main account, which is irregular, and then 154,000 in the trading account. What we have said when we appointed the CFO, and what we said to the accounting officer, Dr. Sean Phillips, we said, look, we want zero on both, because these things are man-made or person-made. Otherwise, you are accountable. You will be held, and there will be consequence on you as an accounting officer. There will be consequence on you as a CFO before there's a consequence on us, because we're all accountable in reality. So what I'm saying is it would have been within the chair of the portfolio committee and the portfolio committee to make any statement, but the truth that stands in front of us, and that I'm using to respond to you, there's no way there could be public funds that are unaccounted for, and then I come up and say, I'm not accountable for that. So where I stand is that I have to be accountable. I'm fully appointed as a minister, 24/7. Even though I don't count rands and cents, and I'm not responsible for procuring and so on, but ultimately I'm responsible.
So what does accountability look like, though, Minister Mchunu? I think South Africans appreciate that for the first time you're hearing words from a minister in this government, which, by the way, is not remembered for people taking accountability and resigning at the level of political accountability. But what does accountability look like when a minister in a department is going to have this kind of corruption going on, and that minister is happy to remain there?
Look, we're in a country where accountability which rests on the Constitution of the Republic as a basis for accountability. But let me just say broader, we're in a democracy where you have people who get elected to various positions on the basis of trust. The public trusts you and say, go and occupy this position. You are a mayor, or you are an MEC or premier, or you are president of the republic, or you are minister. It's an honor to serve in these particular positions in a nation of 59 million people, and you are selected among those. And you don't even go for an interview, or you don't even show your certificates or your diplomas or your degrees. You get appointed. Now, what is the best way of accounting and therefore fully appreciate that you are selected to this position of honor is to serve the people with honesty, is to serve people with dedication, and is to be accountable overall, that you have to, and when you are called upon to be accountable, it must be a happy hour for you as a public representative.
So let me make it clear for you, Minister. I think
yes.
we possibly are going around in circles. Accountability in this day and age for an ANC-appointed government minister. If there is wrong in your department, do you resign or not?
If there is wrong, for which I need to, first thing is to hold anybody accountable, and there must be a consequence. If you have to fire somebody, if somebody has to be fired, if somebody has to be heard in terms of charges, you do that. But if it comes to a point where you feel that you were fast asleep and you are actually responsible for this wrongdoing, it may be an honorable thing to say, no, I realize that I don't have legs here to stand, and I will go.
Here's a question then, Minister, to use your words. If you were fast asleep, do you genuinely believe that your colleagues, or should I say your predecessors, were fast asleep when this corruption was going on?
Well, I suppose that, to be honest and fair to everybody, people have themselves to speak on their behalf. And those questions need to be directed to them. But where I am affected, I'm just trying to distinguish between what, for instance, the SIU would say, and say, this official in the report today must be held accountable for 1, 2, 3 of wrongdoing in a particular. I may have to think twice before I say, no, because of this, I resign, as opposed to say, yes, this official who is still there under my responsibility needs to be made, or this thing needs to be taken to its finality by holding that official accountable.
All right.
And there must be a consequence. I rather would want to do that immediately than merely saying, okay, I'm crying and resigning, and then I go home.
Minister, I'm in trouble.
We have to turn this thing around right now, build this government, build credibility, build accountability, and you can't do it. But where I realize that, no, I think this thing slipped under my watch personally now, I would be prepared to go home for that.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's a fair commitment from your side. So there you have it, South Africa. If there is any further corruption in that department, Minister Mchunu is to be held accountable, and he's happy to go home. You've heard it from him. Thank you very much for your time, Minister Senzo Mchunu.
Thank you. Thank you very Thank you very much, Toli, and thank you very much to the listeners.
Thank you, Minister.